Contrary to popular belief, the type of guys that see women's, and this is plural, women's freaky side are far and few in between. Like I said, contrary to popular belief, because if you ask Joe Schmo out here, he's probably seen maybe one or two of women's freaky side, and they probably, for lack of better terms, were not that attractive. And we all know that beauty and looks and all that good stuff is subjective, but by an overwhelming majority vote, by a consensus of people, these women would not be considered that attractive for one reason or another. Maybe it's a weight thing, maybe it's how she keeps herself up, okay? But these are just semantics. I'm just going over minute details here. But the type of men that see multiple women's freaky side. Now, see, this is gonna be the dichotomy here. I'm just making it very clear to you guys what type of guys I'm talking about. Because like I said, anybody in the comment section or any Joe Schmo can be like, yeah, I saw Precious, I saw her freaky side. If y'all don't know who Precious is, Google that, okay? But I'm talking about men. This is where the differentiation is. I'm talking about men who saw many attractive, consensusly attractive women's freaky side. These are women that a consensus of people would consider attractive. And I'm gonna get into it. This is Tarik Talks, and I do present you with a midnight podcast. Sit down, relax, and enjoy. Like I said, these women would be consensusly considered attractive. A consensus of men would be intimate with these type of women. And I just had to make that distinction here real quick before I even went into the video, okay? So these type of guys, they have a knack for bringing out that freaky side in a woman or multiple of them. And this is a combination. It's a combination of how they choose the women, okay? So I like to quote Rom Wills. Shout out Rom Wills. He says, know the women in your tribe. You vibe with your tribe. And this is the case with women, okay? Some guys, their tribe, whatever environment they live in, whatever neighborhood, whatever community, you know, whether it be more hood community, more preppy, more educated, whatever the case is, whatever that community is, they get the, you know, the cream of the crop per se. And the women in their immediate environment are attracted to this guy, right? Whether it be in his school, because more than likely, if someone attends the same school, more than likely, not always, but more than likely, they're in the same neighborhood, same environment, same interest, so on and so forth. And, you know, it kind of starts, a lot of these guys, it starts off when they're young. A lot of them, not all, but there's a good portion. And this is something that I have observed. These guys were in elementary school having girlfriends, okay? They were having girlfriends, whether it was because they have swag, drip. Mind you guys, the type of environment I grew up in was urban. I grew up in Houston, Texas. This was an urban environment. You guys could take this and attach it to whatever environment you live in, whether it be somewhere in the hills, somewhere in Malibu, somewhere in a very suburban school, whatever. You take this and you attach it to that. So, you know, and growing up, these guys had swag, drip. They had their little clothes on and they were cool. They were the cool kids. And they grew up And these same boys were good with women, okay? And it was just something that they had early on in childhood. Now, granted, I like to take a quick detour on the subject real quick and say that some of these guys peaked in high school. And what does peak mean? Pretty much it means they were the shit back in high school, but not anymore. Like 50 Cent said, damn, homie, in high school you was the man, homie. What the F happened to you? But that's besides the point right now. And these guys, they just had something. They had that swag, charisma, whatever it is. And not all of them, because I can personally attest that I built myself up because I wasn't always getting choosing signals, or I wasn't getting with women all my life. As a matter of fact, it only happened when I graduated from high school, because I started understanding about how attraction works and working with what I got and optimizing what I got, okay? But for the most part, yeah, these guys were getting girls since maybe school, okay? And these usually are the guys that grow up, and because of that experience, because of the women that they were with, because of that experience that they gained, because this thing that we call attraction is just like anything else. You get better with it over time, and you get better with it with experience. So now they have this experience that they've been having since they were kids, and it just develops from there. And now that they're grown, they are good at communicating with women. So now women can pick up on them vibes, on those sexual vibes. And this is something that I've talked about before. These guys are good at broadcasting their sexual vibe, their sexual nature, because the average guy, he is physically and personality wise not going to exude any kind of sex appeal. And this is why a lot of the average guys, if they made small tweaks, they would be able to, even though they weren't born with it. That's why in the beginning I made a caveat saying that you can build this up. It isn't just something that if you weren't born with it, you're just never gonna have it. I personally don't believe that, because I've experienced it, okay? So, you know, these guys, they can throw off that sexual vibe. And women flock to these type of guys. They flock to these type of guys, and you see it. You know, you see these guys with chicks with them all the time. These are the type of guys who have had wild experiences, threesomes, you know, stuff like that, things of that nature. And sometimes as much as I tell you guys to work out, as much as I tell you guys to get your physique up and all that good stuff, which you still should be doing, sometimes these guys don't look anything like a supermodel. They don't look anything like anything special. A lot of times though, they are built, you know, they're built like athletes, or they have a solid build. I will say that. Prime example, and once again, you know, Ron Wills has talked about this at length, male exotic dancers. I think they see the most raunchiest side of women, okay? And what do they all have in common? They all have that physique. They all have that very built physique. You're not gonna see a guy in there that is out of shape. You're just not gonna see it. And this elevates it. And a lot of these guys, you know, they play sports, and athletes, right? Let's talk about athletes. Besides the wealth that they have, because I know a lot of guys are going to be like, oh yeah, chicks go to them for money, which I'm not denying, right? Which I'm not denying, because gold diggers are a real thing. But aside from that, a lot of these women go for them and they see these women's freaky side because of their physical prowess, because of their physical prowess. And you got the guys, like I said, let's take Chris Brown, for example. Yes, he's a celebrity. I understand he has money, he has status. I get it. Besides that point, because guys, I would venture to say that there are celebrities out there that really don't have sex appeal. Okay, that just because they're successful, they get themselves a wife and they're good. They're good with that, which is nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. I'm not talking about them, no. I'm talking about guys with sex appeal. And Chris Brown is a perfect example. The reason I'm using him is because almost everyone knows him. He's probably been with more chicks than we could ever see in our lives. And that's cool. That's fine. This video isn't about racking up a body count. It's not making you guys feel like you're inferior or anything. Like, a lot of guys feel very inadequate because their body count isn't in the hundreds. Mine isn't either, okay? That don't mean shit. It's just an observation. Now, the thing that Chris Brown has is, he has a physique. First of all, he's very athletic. He has that very athletic physique. He dances his ass off. Second is, he is an R&B singer. So what does he exude? He exudes that vibe, that sexual vibe. Let's take Trey Songz, for example. He's been out the limelight for a while, but when he was out, you can best believe that he was getting played left and right. Why? Because he had that energy. And some guys capitalize on that. They're the ones that see the freaky side the most, because it's weird. It's almost metaphysical. You know what? I'm gonna take this to sort of a metaphysical type of place. Them having that super charisma and sexual vibe kind of morphs them into a man that is attractive, right? Because I'm a believer now. Some of you guys might say that this shit is far out or woo-woo, but whatever your mental is, your reality is kind of gonna take form. Okay, and if you think about it, it makes sense. What if Trey Songz was quote unquote nerdy, right? What if he was quote unquote nerdy? What if, he was this, like Steve Urkel, let's say, for example. He had glasses, he had a crappy haircut, his clothes weren't fitting well, he was very out of shape. This is still Trey Songz, but it's like the metaverse version of him. Okay, it's like a metaverse version. It's the one that doesn't get no play, but the one that does get play, he has certain characteristics about him. He has that vibe, physique. He has, style. Same thing with Chris Brown. They all have certain attributes, certain traits that they take advantage of. And yes, I know about Trey Songz' legal troubles. Sometimes these guys that are very active, let's put it like that, they kind of open themselves up to allegations a little bit. And that was completely off topic, but I thought I should throw that out there, okay? Especially when they got money. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Let me know what y'all thought. Peace.